You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
What's up, sports family? What's going on? You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Q, and we got DC in studio. What's going on, DC?
Whoa. It's all gravy, baby. Ready for these Saints to keep on marching in. That's about it.
That's what they're doing, sir. And we're going to recap that. We're going to recap the Saints game today on podcast 277. That's right, 277. On the Coma, we're going to recap the Saints 31-17 smackdown on the hated Atlanta Falcons. And instead of having turkey, we just had turkey a la Atlanta Falcon in the Superdome. 31-17 smackdown. We'll recap it here today, and we'd like to thank all you guys for joining us, both new and established listeners of the show, as we get into our menu on podcast 277. The Saints, we're going to get into a little, we're going to break that down with stats, facts, breakdown. We're going to have some interviews from Coach Payton, Drew Brees, etc. We got some Saint news to chime in, fines to Elvin Kamara. We also have the injury report we'll brief you with, as DC will give you an injury report. We'll talk about the Saints defense and offense and their performance against the Falcons. We'll have more topics dealing with the Saints, such as more MVP talk as it continues to chime on. It seems like we started something. Prior to that, nobody wasn't talking about Drew Brees being no MVP. But here we go again. We also have the Sports Coma question of the day that we'll hit you with later on, and we'll have the replies from the previous question. And like I said, we'll have Saints news and topics such as Kamara and where the hell is Brandon Marshall? And when will the Saints implement him? We'll give you our opinions and thoughts on a lot of these topics in today's show. So without further ado, let's get right into podcast 277 on the Sports Coma. 31-17 beatdown of the Falcons in a major capacity. The Saints did it big in the game, and we're going to get right into the statistics on this. The Saints put up 312 yards total versus the Atlanta's 366 yards. Don't seem impressive on the yardage tip, but the Saints did a lot of terrific things in this game. As you know, the Saints were able to convert 5 of 11 on the first downs versus 5 of 15 by the Falcons. They had a total of 55 plays. The Falcons had 69 plays in this game. Saints total yards, 312 yards. Falcons had 366. They had a total of 11 drives for the Saints, 10 for the Falcons. They averaged almost 6 yards per play. Falcons at 5. And like I said, Drew Brees, 15 of 22, 171 yards. He had 4 touchdowns in the matchup. The Saints running game got going 150 total yards rushing and holding the Falcons to a mind-numbing 26 yards on 16 attempts. Less than 2 yards a rush for the Falcons running game, while the Saints powered it on 31 rushing attempts. They averaged almost 5 yards an attempt. They were in the red zone 2 of 3, converting penalties. They only had 3 for 19 yards. That's what I'm talking about. 1 turnover while forcing the Falcons into 4 turnovers, 3 of which were fumbles and 1 interception. Saints had the time of possession. Well, they didn't win a time of possession battle. They lost it 30 minutes to 59 seconds. The Falcons had it versus Saints 29 minutes and 1 second. Individual statistics on the box score, like we mentioned, Drew Brees, fantastic stats. 171 yards for Drew on 15 to 22 passing, 4 touchdowns. He was sacked 1 time in this game. They finally got to him after that stretch. Top running backs for the Saints, Elvin Kamara, 14 carries, 89 yards on the night. Mark Ingram, 11 carries, 52 yards. Taysom Hill, 2 carries for 13. And Drew, he was sacked 1 time, but he had 4 carries for -4. Altogether, 31 carries for 150 yards, no touchdowns. The receiving game for the Saints, top targets, led the game. Dan Arnold, believe it or not, he was the top man, 4 catches. He was targeted 6 times, had 4 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. Michael Thomas, 4 catches for 38 yards in a very quiet matchup. Then, of course, Mark Ingram had a couple of catches, and everybody else after that, Tommy Lewis, Benjamin Watson, Austin Carr, Kamara, and Keith Kirkwood all had a reception apiece. 15 catches for 171 yards and 4 touchdowns on the Saints receiving core. for the night. So the Saints did it big on the offensive end while literally shutting down the running game for what the Falcons was trying to do. Matt Ryan had 2 scrambles for 16 yards. Coleman, 8 carries for 6 yards. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Although Matt Ryan did have 35 of 47 for 377 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. But guess what? He threw an interception. He was responsible for 2 fumbles. He was sacked 6 times in this game for 37 yards. And before we get into the defensive statistics, DC, opinion on the Saints win over the Falcons.
Excellent way to get you some roasted fried turkey, Falcon. Same thing. Pretty much we was all eating that on Thanksgiving out here because the Falcons clearly didn't stand a chance, man. They looked like they was all carved up after the first drive. Going out there, a lot of mental mistakes from the Falcons. It looks like they were feeling the pressure. As Dennis Allen so eloquently put it to his defense, all you have is fear. And Matt Ryan sure did look scared. So I would have to say this is more of a game that our defense kind of led the way. Rolling into the defensive statistics, I think that's a proper segue to go ahead into it, man, and start going over some of these excellent defensive plays because we had some scoring on offense. But I think defense led the way, and it was very intelligent of Sean Payton to allow all the undrafted people to get a touchdown. So I know he said that wasn't intention.
Yeah, that was definitely playing that, DC, no doubt about it. The undrafted guys got busy in the effort. Of course, Tommy Lee Lewis was activated for this game, and they did release Chaz Green, the big offensive lineman they picked up from Dallas. Well, not from Dallas, but, him from playing with Dallas. They released him before the game, and, of course, they made inactive Traquan Smith from the previous game because of an injury. But, of course, they didn't need him, and the Saints showed that they're a plug-and-play offense as Dan Arnold led the day. And, of course, Tommy Lee comes back, makes 1 catch for 28 yards in the score that kind of broke things open. And, of course, to be quite honest with you, and a lot of y'all guys don't know that this should have been at least 2 touchdowns worse than what it is. This should have been a 45-17 game, to be honest with you, because they left 2 touchdowns on the field. Of course, the drop by Ben Watson, which really he was targeted twice. He had a very easy catch. Only thing I do is catch it and turn, and it was a touchdown. And, of course, Dan Arnold had one that he dropped as well, as he was targeted 6 times. So it should have been a 40-burger. The Saints were kind to the Atlanta Falcons and didn't really do it. But with the win, they do knock them out of playoff contention. In my opinion, I don't think they'll be able to get into any playoff contention unless the bottom falls out in the NFL on the NFC side of things. What you think about that, DC?
Really correct, unless they change the rules and the Falcons could go over there and be in the NFC East. Because if they go over there right now, they'll be probably like the number 2 team. It's pretty much curtains for them at this point. I'm praying and hoping that they win a few more games so their draft stock can go up. I'd hate to see them in the season 4-12. And we have to deal with whatever monster that they draft next year. But I think this is all payback, man. The Saints definitely remember that 2016 season when the Falcons swept us, man. They basically embarrassed us. So you're welcome. We return the favor.
Well said, DC. I think that's a well-felt sentiment among the Who Dat Nation and the Sports Coma family is that it always feels good to give them rotten-ass dirty birds to sweep them and put their season in jeopardy like we did. So that feels good as well. But before we get in the rest of the defensive statistics on how well they did in those topics, let's see what Coach Sean Payton had to say about his team's performance against the Dirty Birds.
Obviously, when you play on this day and you play the night game, it's not like you have that full day at all you're really getting ready for the game. But I was proud of how our guys played. Obviously, the turnovers were significant, the rushing numbers, all the things that lead to winning or keep you from winning. I felt were on display tonight. Proud of our defense. Thought we ran the ball well, and it was a good win, good division win. Any questions? Yeah, it's good news. We played some good offenses. Cincinnati's good offense. Shoot, the Eagles are a good offense. I feel like we're playing a complementary game relative to time of possession, third downs, all of those things. And tonight was no different. Man, a lot of it's effort and belief. We had 4 of them, so, one right down on the half-yard line. Not getting ready to rank. Nope. Go ahead, Ed.
Just the collection of young talent that you have on this defense.
Is it the what?
One of the better ones you've had since you've been here.
We'll see. Next question. Look, it certainly helps when you can hold an opponent to 20-some yards. It helps. When you know what's coming if they're one-dimensional, and that was the case tonight. Well, I think it's a good question. I think that we're constantly talking about improvement or going the other way, and I think you can think it and you can want it and hope for it, but you have to at some point demonstrate it. And when you do that, then there's actual moments where you can see a young player gain confidence because of maybe he covered a kick a right way, or maybe he fit the run the right way, and then he believes he can do it and he starts doing it over and over again. But I think that we're playing better, and we've still got work to do, but that's encouraging.
That was Coach Payton chiming in with his thoughts on what happened in the Atlanta game. It was. I'll be honest with you, man. It was an excellent game, man. I have to say, man, very exciting game, very refreshing game. The Saints jumped out on the Falcons. By halftime, it was 17-3, and they didn't turn around. They didn't look back, only allowing the Falcons to put up 14 points in the second half, while then themselves did score 14 points as well. It finished 31-17. So it was supposed to be. It should have been a 40 burger. This game should have been 45 to 17. To be honest with you, that's my take on it. They were kind to this team. But anyway, before we get to further, that's DC. Before we talk about these topics here, you got an injury report you want to hit us with? Let the family know what happened in this game, or do we lose anybody, or we got anybody coming back in?
Most definitely, it's a war, so people are always getting hurt. Coincidentally, Traquan Smith was hurt. All the guys last week, not much change. Traquan Smith is still day-to-day with that toe issue. If you ask me, I'm surprised Marcus Davenport is still on injury report after watching him. He didn't look completely healthy either. So maybe that's a guy they're not talking about that you might not be surprised if they say later on in the week he's questionable or doubtful or anything like that, because he definitely didn't look quite himself. In some type of way, Brandon Marshall wound up on the injury report. He's day-to-day as coach's decision. So I don't know. Hopefully he's not having another mental health issue. I hope not. I'm not joking. But we saw this happen with the Vikings, and Everson Griffin, he was on the injury report, and then all of a sudden he had some type of mental breakdown. He wound up being back out there. But we need Brandon Marshall to get out there, man. We ain't got a lot of receivers. That's the only two people that's sitting currently on our injury report, other than everybody who's on injury reserve that you guys are already full aware of.
All right. Thank you for that, DC. Hope we see Brandon Marshall real soon, man. Of course, the Saints are doing a pretty decent job of using other wide receivers to fill in, activating Tommy Lee Lewis, who comes in and contributes. Of course, Austin Carr caught a touchdown in this one, a 12-yard touchdown. And then, of course, Keith Kirkwood, he had a 5-yard touchdown. So the Saints using the bottom of the roster wide receivers. Kirkwood's not a bad receiver. Neither is Austin Carr, but these guys are coming in and they're making contributions and they're taking full advantage of the opportunities presented to them. And you can't say enough about those guys, whether it's Keith Kirkwood, Austin Carr, Tommy Lee Lewis, or the third tight end on the roster, Dan Arnold, who had 4 catches of 45 yards, 1 touchdown, but your Saints targeted him 6 times in this game. He really should have had 2 touchdowns in this game. So Drew Brees was really going at Dan Arnold in this matchup. And it was awesome just to see that our third string tight end, our fourth and fifth and sixth string wide receivers were the subject of touchdowns happening. So big ups to the Saints offense for getting those guys involved when the Falcons were trying to take out our guys like Alvin Kamara and Mike Thomas, who did have decent efforts in this game. As like I said, Kamara 14 carries for 89 yards. He did catch 1 pass for 9 yards in this game as well, but he was only targeted 1 time. Drew only went to him 1 time in this game. So that's just showing you the way that Drew is distributing the ball amongst these wide receivers is a thing of beauty. Anyway, before we finish getting into our discussion about the Saints offense going into the defense, here's Drew Brees with his thoughts on the game. Here's Drew.
It's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I got family waiting. Let's roll. Yeah, love it. It was awesome. They were amped up. Defense fed off of it. Defense played tremendous today against a really explosive offense. Got 4 turnovers, so it was obviously a huge stat in the game. But just the energy and, you know, the emotion on Thanksgiving Day was great.
What does it say about the way this team is now built that you can throw for less than 200 yards and still win the game?
Listen, when defense plays like that, and you know we're getting 5 yards of rush like we did today, man, those are all great things, you know. And so, for me as a quarterback, it's still about, you know, managing the game in the best way that I can. And you know, if opportunities for big plays, we make them. Convert third downs. We got to possess the ball so we can, you know, put together good drives, go score points, and play that complementary brand of football.
Talk about the collection of teams you have, really good young players on defense, and what they are meaning for this franchise.
Yeah. Well, you know, each week, I think especially over the last, 3 weeks, you've seen just a level of confidence and growth and maturity. You know, I think out of some, you know, young players, really on both sides of the ball, you know, stepping into roles, getting significant playing time, you know, really having to contribute in a big way. And they've just continued to get better and better, and I think there's confidence that's building with that too. And so you just feel like we're scratching the surface.
You practice against it every day. You can really see that.
What's that?
I said you practice against it every day. I mean, you can really.
Yeah, are you talking about our young guys on defense? Yeah. Listen, they're playing with a ton of confidence and a swagger and you know, just a belief.
That was Drew Brees giving his thoughts on the Saints game. As usual, Drew is letting people know what time it is with that, and big ups to Drew Brees on his performance and how he's cutting up stuff for the Saints offense. Now, getting into the defense, man, we're going to talk about the defense here before we get into our commercial break. Saints defense, got to give them credit, man, in this matchup. Top tackler for the Saints defense in this matchup was Eli Apple. He had 10 tackles, 1 pass defense. Of course, he had 10 totals. 8 of them was solo. Eli Apple was magnificent. Now, the Saints did slide Eli Apple over to guard Julio Jones for pretty much the whole game. They put Marshawn Lattimore on Kelvin Ridley because of what Ridley did to the Saints in the first matchup, which was smart. But that just shows you the amount of trust that the Saints Saints defensive coaches have in Eli Apple to put him on their top target. And he did a very good job. As looking at some of the statistics dealing with the wire, Julio Jones did catch 11 catches. He was targeted 14 times. He caught 11 balls for 147 yards. But the key stat there is 0. Big ups to Eli Apple, who played him. Now imagine if that was Ken Crawley or PJ Williams over there. Could you imagine what they would have looked like? I mean, that would have been absolutely pandemonium on that side of stuff, but that just shows you the upgrade, like DC astutely talked about Eli Apple bringing to this team. Of course, Von Bell is second on the tackle list. He had 7. Alex Anzalone had 6, so did Demario Davis. PJ Williams had 6 as well. And of course, Demario had a sack, and PJ Williams had a sack as well. Demario had 2 tackles for a loss. And they not mention the fact that Demario did have a fumble, that he did poke a ball loose. I don't see that on the stat line there. But Marcus Williams, 5 tackles as well. He had a sack, 1 tackle for loss, a QB hit in the game. Marshawn Lattimore had 5 tackles. Cam Jordan, once again, he blew up the place. He had 4 tackles and 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, a big performance. 4 for A.J. Klein in the game. He was big as well, as he had an interception. Sheldon Rankins doing the shimmy again. He was able to get a sack in the game as he showed up masterfully with 2 tackles in the game. Kurt Coma, Alex Okafor had 2, and then, of course, a bevy of Saints. Other talent had chimed in with 1 tackle in the game. Now, Eli Apple did a fumble. Von Bell got a fumble. Marcus Williams, of course, was responsible for getting a fumble. A.J. Klein got his interception. He returned it for 6 yards. And, of course, outside of that, we're totally masterful. But anyway, we're going to get into our commercial. When we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to hit you with some Saints news, dealing with Elvin Kamara. We're going to talk about our thoughts on Marshall play, and we also have some other information we'll hit you with. We got the Sports Coma question of the day, offensive defense questions, MVP talk, and the replies from the previous question. All that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q. Talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Box, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Postgame Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, and we recapping the Saints' big win over the Falcons, 31-17. Should have been 40-something on those bastards. But anyway, we're gonna recap. We're gonna hit you with the Sports Coma question of the day, which is and I want to hear y'all comments on this one. What do you think the Saints are? The Saints holding back? Is Sean Payton holding back the offense so he can really put on the show for the playoffs? What you think about that? Let us know what you think, guys. Is Sean Payton kind of dialing back? Is he holding back some of that offense so you'll really see something shaking when the playoffs come? This team is sitting up here 2-1. Now they're gonna tell you they're not looking at the playoffs, but that's the big picture. They're gonna tell you we take one day at a time. Now, of course, that's a good logic to think, but man, big picture, little picture. We all see big picture and little picture. You get what I'm saying? So the big picture, little picture is day at a time. The big picture is the bowl. That's the bottom line, and that's how we do it. But at the bottom line, what do you think about this question? Is he holding back some offense for the playoffs? Chime in, let us know. We'll read those replies on the show. Now let's get into some of our topics, DC. Here on the Sports Coma episode 277. Let's hear some stuff about Alvin Kamara. You was breaking down Alvin Kamara's obvious fine that he had. He flipped the ball and he caught a fine for it in the game against Atlanta. Give us some information on that, if you please.
Ain't really much information to report on that. I don't really think it's retarded and crazy. He flipped the ball at a defender on the Eagles. Might have been Malcolm Jenkins. Maybe that's why he wanted to flip the bird. But they fined both of those guys for a total of $23,000. Alvin Kamara's around $13,000 or $10,000. They gave him for flipping the ball at a receiver. I mean, come on, man. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is just as crazy as some of the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Like, how can you? I don't understand how you can get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as a grown man. Like, I just don't get it. This ain't Pee Wee football. We understand what it's about with Pee Wee football. Well, that's grown men out there. He flipped the ball at you. All right, well, when he get the carry the next time, knock his head off. This ain't behavior report time in elementary school. It's just crazy to me, dude. I wonder if these fines sometimes is just another way for the NFL to boost their revenue because it really don't make much sense. But I did want to comment on the defense of the Saints, though. Big Q went through all the stats, and I was supposed to give my comment in on the other side, but I thought our defense was very dominant, very imposing on Atlanta, man. You've seen Calvin Ridley had about 13 targets. Julio Jones had about 14 targets. And you're like, well, Calvin Ridley had 93 yards and Julio Jones had 134. Our defense couldn't have been that good, but neither one of them got in the end zone. And they both were forced to fumble. Mohamed Sanu probably was the best out of the three of them, if you ask me, because he didn't make very many mistakes. And a lot of those yards came in. And I think other than that, any statistic you look to, the Saints defense was dominant. We forced 4 turnovers overall, and they did it in a variety of ways. And it was very impressive to see them do that against an offense like Atlanta, who probably should be, at the end of the year, top 5, which is going to be crazy because their record is going to suck. So it's going to show you that defense still is important in today's game, even if it's been watered down a little. With everybody going crazy about the Rams and the Chiefs game. And, you know, everybody's still talking about the Rams. But it's like they let a team put up 52 points on them. Like, that's not impressive at all, if you ask me. But it's the new NFL. So in the new NFL, since everybody won't grade on the curve for the Rams, I'm going to go ahead and give the Saints a shutout victory for only letting Atlanta score 17 points. Very impressive, man. And if we can keep this type of thing up, I don't know, maybe we do go 15-1.
Very well said, DC. I think the Saints definitely deserve a lot more credit than what they're given. All of the credit, the kind of game they put on, and especially the defense. We knew what kind of ball game we had with the offense. A lot of people disrespected the defense. And we didn't, and credit had to be given to the fact that the Saints did improve upon the defense midstream and improve the secondary. Of course, the secondary is a work in progress. The front 7 is the best in the NFL, the way they play, and they're stopping teams. Number 1 against the run. It's only a matter of time for the secondary is getting better. So I think the secondary numbers are definitely skewed because the Saints are making these teams one-dimensional, bottom line. So outside of that, I like to give credit to Cam Jordan. As he, with his 2 sacks, he's climbing.
Is this the players of the game?
No. We're going to do the thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, right? It is the recap, you know, thumbs up. I forgot to mention earlier, but the thumbs up, thumbs down. But I'll do mine first, DC. You come right there. But our thumbs up, thumbs down play, I'm going to have to give it to Cam Jordan, thumbs up. Of course, Cam did what he did. He racked up a few more sacks as he continued to climb the Saints all-time sack list. You know, as he climbing up there where Will Smith is. So I like to give him credit for what he's doing on the team, as he did it really well. He continues to play really well for the Saints, and I just loved his effort that he did in the game as well. And my thumbs down player, man, in this matchup. It's hard to give a thumbs down matchup, man, because they playing so well. Every game, it seems like it's getting harder and harder. That's the question. I'm going to give it to Ben Watson. I'm going to give my thumbs down to Ben Watson. Ben Watson, he's too of an experienced veteran tight end to make such a boneheaded move like what he did. That touchdown, it was all his. He had it, and he just turned too soon without securing the ball. I just think that was just, and I'm getting kind of upset with Ben Watson, to be honest with you. Ben Watson has been dropping balls consistently over the last several games, and I'm starting to notice that trend. As I don't know if he's losing focus or whatever. It's something going on here, and I can see with his going down, you can see the evolution of Dan Arnold as he's starting to teeter away, because Dan Arnold got 6 hits in this game, 4 catches for 45 yards, 1 touchdown. He did drop a touchdown as well, but Watson only went to Ben Watson twice, and one of them was a touchdown. I'm pretty sure if he would have caught that touchdown, he would have more balls thrown his way. But it's just the fact that I noticed the progression and regression of Ben Watson versus the progression of Dan Arnold in that role. Now, Arnold's a 3rd-string tight end, but he's starting to look like he's coming on. So anyway, my thumbs down is going to Ben Watson, and thumbs up to Cam in this game. Big ups to Cam on the game. Who you got, DC?
I ain't gonna let you talk about Ben Watson, not golden child like that. Nah, but Ben Watson getting a little up in age, man. You can't expect complete consistency from him. I mean, the man 38 years old. In football years, that's like 102. We're not going to talk about Drew Brees. He plays the quarterback position, my brother. Drew Brees don't get hit every single play that he line up. Every play Ben Watson is going to face contact. Ben Watson is going to face contact just as much as any other football player on the field, except for the quarterback. Quarterback is the only position other than the kicker and probably the backup quarterback where you actually could go out there, have a whole game, and still have a clean jersey. So I'm going to lay off Ben Watson a little bit. But you're right, bro. I guess it's adequate to have him his thumb down. He did drop a whole touchdown. Dan Arnold dropped one, but he caught the other. But my thumbs down player, and y'all gonna see my theme is a little bit crazy. The player that I'm giving a thumbs down to is gonna be none other than, I'm sure this guy, hopefully I'm right, played football before, but the official that did not call a pass interference on Drew Brees' pick, man. I mean, the dude mauled Kirkwood. He was right there. He didn't do anything. I mean, he literally grabbed him before the ball even got there, and it wound up in a turnover. I thought that was so weird, and they didn't give him that call. But shout out to you, brother, because I'm sure you pissed off the Saints, and they went on to thrash the Falcons after that. But that's going to be my thumbs down guy of the game. It's kind of hard for me to pick between anybody. I thought the defense played well. The offense seems like we gave our premier players a little bit of a light day of work. So that's going to tie into my thumbs up play of the game. Is going to be a guy who probably played about 25, 20 years ago, and that's going to be Mr. Sean Payton. That's my thumbs up play of the game. I thought he had an excellent game plan. He carried it out flawlessly. They allowed people who the Falcons didn't game plan for to go and get 4 touchdowns. They all happened to be undrafted players, and they all got in the end zone, man. I thought that was excellent to be able to do that and carry that out in such a game in prime time, too. Also to have those players that nobody had career touchdowns other than Austin Carr, be up and be ready for that. You know, Dan Arnold did drop one, but I can't say the same about the other guys. So shout out to Sean Payton, man, for drawing up another flawless game plan. And to tie that in to answer the question of the day, because, you know, I always got to sneak and get y'all an answer, even though I probably ain't supposed to, because this is supposed to be for y'all. But I think Sean Payton is definitely holding a lot of tricks back, and you're going to see the fireworks fly in the playoffs. As we usually do, we're going to embarrass somebody. So I'm just feeling sorry for maybe that first or second team that we run into, because that's usually when it happens.
Going to chime in as well. Remember, the Sports Coma question of the day today is the Saints holding back in the offense for the playoffs? Chime in, let us know what you think on that question. And, of course, before we get into the replies from the previous question of the day, DC, what's your thoughts on Marshall playing? Of course, a lot of people want to know about Brandon Marshall. I had one guy made mention, say, shit, we don't need him. We got to keep Kirkwood. We got all these other guys. We got plug and play. We got whatever. When is Brandon Marshall going to get his opportunity to shine? He's been here for 2 weeks, and we have yet to see him do anything, and now he's showing up on the injury list. So what's going on with that?
Well, I know I talked about mental health earlier, and I was kind of serious about that with Brandon Marshall. I think his head is hurting from all these plays he's trying to hurry up and absorb to get out on the field. The man is clearly trying to learn the whole offense in the span of 3 weeks. Some players, it took him a complete year to process this offense. So I'm pretty sure Brandon Marshall needs a lot of Tylenol and some water on deck, because his head is hurting, man. The man overworking his brain, bro. He had brain fatigue. That was the injury, you know. So, but all jokes aside, I think when Brandon Marshall gets out there, he's going to basically do what we already know. We discussed this. I haven't seen it change, because Sean Payton has been excited about creating these 3 receiver sets with all big guys. Traquan Smith can definitely play a little bit of slot, but for whatever reason, they don't seem to put him there a lot. Maybe he's not comfortable in that role, but he is on the outside. So Brandon Marshall can definitely be Brandon Coleman. And that's sad to say, because, like, how can I refer to Brandon Marshall being Brandon Coleman? That's crazy. But he can have the Brandon Coleman role, shall I say, to be a big guy, very physical. You can do a lot of blocking, like I said, and you can run the ball out of 3 receiver sets. If we're able to run the ball out of 3 receiver sets, you find a way to get Mark Ingram and Kamara on the field at the same time. Then you have 3 wide receivers that can actually block. I ain't talking about little pitter-patter getting away blocks, but these brothers can block. They can maul a cornerback or even a safety. So if you got that going on, and then they have to contend with the running game, they don't know if Ingram's running at him, if Kamara's coming out the backfield, keeps the defense off. And then you have Brandon Marshall that can definitely still run a wide receiver straight route. And we can run the 4 verts like we've been so famous for doing. And I could see him being a part of that. Also adding the tight end along too. You got a 4 vert route. He's doing that. He's running basically possession routes. I haven't seen Brandon Marshall running any screens, so I don't expect to see him doing that. But pretty much all the same routes that you've seen Brandon Coleman run, that we've set him up with, being able to run the ball out of 3 receiver sets. And also from the magic tricks that Drew Brees pulls out of his hat with all of his at-the-line adjustments, I think Brandon Marshall will fit in just fine. He's a vet, 13 years. Pretty sure he knows every wide receiver position on the field. The dude was a multi-time Pro Bowler. I don't think all that knowledge goes away. You just can't expect him to be Michael Thomas on an everyday basis. So Brandon Marshall definitely has the Brandon Coleman role. You can see him probably end the year off with 3 or 4 touchdowns, and he's definitely going to have a game where he either eclipses or gets very close to 100.
It's definitely coming, man. It's definitely coming. I agree with that analysis about Brandon Marshall and God forbid Coleman, because that's definitely what they're looking for. He's a red zone target, and if you think about that's the lacking thing. I mean, he's a terrific blocker, but he's definitely the red zone target that they praying that Brandon Coleman was supposed to be. But this guy is going to represent. So he don't need to learn a lot of the playbook to catch touchdowns in the red zone. I think he'll eventually come on and do his thing with that. So
you want to run all these fancy run plays that Sean Payton drawing up.
We're going to see. But that'll do it for that discussion. We don't need to take nothing for Carolina. Carolina need to learn their own stuff better. That's fine. But go on.
They designed the whole offense based off of us.
And look what they got, 4-7. Swept by the Saints this year and out the playoffs. Let's read this. Let's go over the question of the day from the previous question, which was, how do you feel about the Saints playing on Thanksgiving? We got a few comments here. 23 commenters commented on the Sports Coma. I'll read a handful of them for you guys. Eats, E-A-T-Z, Eats is in the building. He says, I feel that the NFL is going to have teams playing on Thursday. It should only happen the week after a bye or after another Thursday game, such as the Saints versus the Cowboys matchup this year. That being said, I'm going to enjoy watching the Saints on Thanksgiving. Big up to you, Eats, and thanks for replying or commenting, brother, on this question of the day. John Gordon chimes in. What's going on, John? He says, I just want to enjoy my mama gumbo, stuffed bell peppers in peace, Saints. Y'all can't lose to the fell clowns in the dome on Thanksgiving. I know you have to throw the records out when these two teams play, but the Saints are the superior opponent. I want to be stuffed with a Saints win. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the Who Dat Nation. Big ups to you, John Gordon. Appreciate you, my friend. And we did get that coveted win over the stinking, rotten, dirty birds. We did put them down. And of course, man, I did get some of my mama's gumbo, but that stuffed bell pepper, she ain't make them this year, bro. So maybe for Christmas. But thank you, my man. Appreciate the comment. I can make everything I love die. In a very interesting moniker. He chimes in. What's going on with you, my friend? He says, I don't mind me some Saints football on Thanksgiving, but it sucks that it has to come at the cost of a short week and risking injury because of it. But hey, seeing the Saints playing early definitely isn't a bad thing. Big ups to I can make everything I love die. Appreciate the comment there, my man. Appreciate you. Sean C comment. What's going on, Sean? He says, normally I hate these short turnaround games, but I think it is great for the Saints fans and will give a further exposure to our amazing team. I normally don't even watch the games on Turkey Day because they're boring. Not this year. Happy Thanksgiving, fellas, to you and all the Who Dat fans. Same to you, Sean, and happy holidays to you, my friend. Audit the Fed says, Who Dat to you, Audit. Dylan PMM04B Tones chimes in. He says, happy Thanksgiving to my 504 family and Who Dat Nation. You heard me? Happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to you, Dylan. Appreciate the comment, my man. John Lister chimes in. What's up, John? He says, Who Dat said they're going to beat them Saints. Who Dat? And you can see John bucked up. He said, I'm frothing at the mouth. Yes, this is what we want. This is the biggest rivalry. We deserve holiday games because the other legacy rivalries are old and tired. Skins versus the boys game is null and void because both of them some mop water. That's pretty bad. Bears and Pack are flame dwindling in the wind, and the Lions, any team they play makes them look like a worm struggling the Eagles' talent. We've earned this. We deserve this. This is our time to let the U.S. say no. Falcons and Saints are the best and highest rivalry. Hashtag keep marching. Thank you, John, for that comment, man. Appreciate you. And you're absolutely right. A lot of these old matchups pretty uninteresting. Of course, this year I got to say, that we had a pretty good roster of Thanksgiving games. I watched every last one of them, including with the finale with the Saints and the Falcons, and I wasn't the least bit disappointed. They were actually pretty solid contests for Thanksgiving, the best that I've seen in some time. Brandon Christian chimes in. What's going on, B? He said, I'll take my Falcons injected with some Creole butter seasoned and deep fried, black and gold forever. Who that? Who that to you, Brandon? And that's exactly what we did, them funky birds. We put them down, dog. Appreciate your comment. DJ Austin chimes in. What's up, DJ? He said, I'm kind of 50-50 with this question because this is good because it's a holiday and it's football. But to have this matchup on Thursday, but to say we have a short week, we can rest like we should, but it's fine. At least we know we'll get a win tomorrow. And that's exactly what happened, DJ. We got that win. Appreciate the comment. Tim Russ chimes in. He says, I think it's great for us to play on Thanksgiving Day, but I really think it's fair for the best teams to play on Thanksgiving. You'll get more ratings, which means higher advertising bucks being spent for exposure. As far as the players are concerned, it'll be tough on them to play full contact in such a short time period between games. I guess that's why players utilize cryo treatment so they can heal faster. I guess it'll be insensitive to say, suck it up and do your job. Millions of dollars are being put into y'all pockets. Got to thank the fans and advertising for that. So in return, we got to give the crowd what they want. Who that? Who that, Tim? Appreciate the comment, man. And Tim took it to the economical side of things, which was very interesting angle. Appreciate the comment, Tim. Payne Music Incorporated says, I love it 100%. Thank you, Payne Music Incorporated, for the comment. Appreciate it, friend. Red Cross 504 says, solid podcast, bro. Appreciate you, Red Cross 504. Thank you for listening, my friend, and continue to comment. Thank you. And then a final comment, a Soldier for God 77 say, I think it would be awesome. Let everybody on Thanksgiving Day see what type of team the Saints are. Put some respect on the teams, on the Saints team. Ryan Clark, happy Thanksgiving, Big Q, and the guys. Happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to you, Soldier for God 77. Appreciate the comment, my friend. And thank all of you guys for commenting on today's comment show. DC, you want to add any comments time behind our great commenters for today?
I'm trying to figure out who to get a comment of the day for, man. It's real tough today. Everybody's on their Thanksgiving spirit. I'm going to let Big Q do the honors on this one, man. It's kind of hard to choose, man.
Well, you know
who you got for comment of the day, Big Q?
I'm going to give the comment of the day to all my great Saints family out there. All the great guys, all of them had terrific comments. I couldn't pick out one in particular, say, hey, this one here stood out. All of them was terrific today. So all of them winners in my book. You heard me? Who that to all my commenters and Sports Coma family out there in Who That Land. So that's my take on it, DC.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. I was thinking the same thing. But, yeah, definitely appreciate all the comments from everybody, man. The Saints riding high, y'all. We are 10-1 heading into the convertible stadium. Gonna make it happen on another Thursday night game. This is wild, man. Have the Saints ever had back-to-back Thursday night games? I'm so excited to see. We get it started early, just right after football's over. You ain't got to wait the whole 7 days. Isn't that cool? You just wait like 4.5. You know, we be ready like 12 at night game day. The Saints fans wake up ready. But yeah, this has been an epic podcast because it was an epic game. We swept the Falcons this year. Who that, baby? Fried Falcon burgers.
Anytime we can get them old rusty, dirty birds out of here, man, it's a good thing. But anyway, thank you guys for commenting. Thank you guys for listening to the show today on Podcast 277 of Sports Coma. Remember, as always, if you like the show, then go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network and donate, contribute. You can be a one-time donator or you can do a monthly contributorship to help build the podcast. Also, they also help out. You can sign up for our social media pages. Those links in the description section. Then there's also our sponsors. You can go to the links in the description section and you can support or buy something from our sponsors. They have great deals. You can get deals on products and services there that also can empower you and then on the other end, help the show. It's a win-win. So from me and DC and the Sports Coma crew, thank you for listening. Peace.
Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture. And like with Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below. Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think Newfrog. Newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for 3 simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.
Hello, sports fanatics. You're now listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.